We are podcastvideos.com. Our goal is to educate, enlighten, engage, and entertain. We believe in the power of love and transformation through storytelling.
Friends and family, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are back with another episode of Story Scaling, a very special Meet the Team series. As you may know by now, I am Baang, and to my left I have...
Nate,
welcome.
thank you, man.
You've been here for quite some time now, right?
Yeah.
How long have you been with the company as a whole?
So, February of 23.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
So, in next February, it'll be 2 years.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
One of the longest staff members.
One of them?
Yeah.
I think now I'm the second.
Wow.
Second. Yeah. I think that's...
Yeah.
I don't know what you would call it, but everybody's like, yeah. He's just been around.
After almost a year and a half, I think it's time we get to know you a little bit.
I think so, too.
Yeah.
I'm surprised we haven't done this sooner, you know?
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? What are you into? What did you think you would be doing up until this point in your life? You can give us as much as you want.
Those are loaded questions.
Yeah, that's a lot there.
But I'm happy to talk about them, you know, because it's whether people find that interesting, you know, hopefully there's something in my story that people can resonate with.
Sure.
But I'm originally from Utah. I'm not from around here, but I've been around here long enough to kind of be like a natural resident in a way. So born in Utah, moved out here when I was young. My dad got a job with Walmart, so that's usually one of the major driving reasons to come out here. But now it's there's many different reasons to move to this area, and for me, kind of going with what one of your questions was, what would you see yourself doing? You know, like I can definitely see myself staying here, but also like I'm not necessarily tied to anything. If that makes sense. Like I could go anywhere, and that's really what I would like to do, travel, but also being here gives me a reason to kind of discover a little bit about myself, if that makes sense. But honestly, you know, my background, I do the websites for podcastvideos.com, and also analytics as well. So that's kind of where I come from a little bit. You know, I've always been interested in technology. In our last episode, or in a previous episode, you called me the guru of technology. You know, I mean, that's a really cool title to have. I try to live up to that, to be honest with you. But yeah, I mean, how can you not be a fan of technology, even though you may not have that kind of background? I'm just talking like in general, you know, like with AI and everything, there's just so much going on and everything's changing so fast. So, but you know, computers, programming languages, that's kind of where I come from. And, you know, I kind of like to see where everything goes in the industry.
Sure.
And then kind of go from there and then find what I'm interested in and then see how I can, you know, use that here. That makes sense.
I feel like you being super humble, cause I do the websites, but bro, I go in your office and you got this huge screen of codes, then you got another screen right here and another screen right here, and I'm just like, what is happening? Like, it's a whole different language. And so, how did that interest come about? I'm hearing you say you've always been interested in technology and you like to see where the trends go, and you know, and I agree with you. I think that's something that is very interesting because now you can get your groceries delivered from a drone, and it's just like, bro, how do we get here? You know what I mean? And so, but for you, where did that love, fascination, interest start? Like, even when you were younger, was there like an interest in all of this stuff, or did you grow and develop into that? I want to know what, you know, younger Nate was into / what you thought you would be doing, and then how did this path kind of forge?
Well, that's interesting because I would like to think that I'm a different person than I was younger Nate. Like, if you look at me now versus when maybe like I was in Utah, because, you know, it's almost two different lives at that point. But I would say I've grown and developed into embracing technology. But there's a part of me that loves to keep things simple. You know, like for groceries, for example, like I'm big into cycling. So there's a grocery store less than a mile from my house. So most of the time, what I'll do is if I need to go get groceries, I'll just at the end of the workday, I'll drive over there. But since it's so close to my house, I can bike to the store. You know, I have a bag I can put on my bike and then get everything I need, come back, and you get your exercise that way. You get to see nature, get to see people. You know, so that's like taking things, dialing it back down and keeping it simple. You know, just riding your bike somewhere, and then going to get groceries. So what's cool is you can leverage technology that way. Like electric bikes, for example. That's something that's very popular now. I don't have an electric bike, but that's something that is a mode of transportation.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's just so many different things in technology that anybody can get involved with. But it's fascinating, man.
And then I hear you're into, like, I know you know what I mean? Probably a little bit, at least, a little bit more than probably our listeners and viewers, but you're very into nature and the outdoors and stuff like that. Talk to me a little bit about that. Where did that love come from?
That happened before technology, to be honest with you. Yeah. I would like to say I'm a fairly active person. I'm not over the top because that would just completely take over my life. But I also am at the point where balance is extremely important to me.
Sure.
As far as being able to have time every day, it can be as little as 30 minutes. That's all I need, and I'll be good for the rest of the day. But if I have another 30 minutes tomorrow, that'll keep me going. It's like recharging your batteries in a way. Most of the time what I'll do is I'll spend that time exercising because that's how I can get out, get away, disconnect. But it's very much hit the reset button, recharge those batteries, and then seize the day, because that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
I mean, what other, well, let me take it back for a second. That's kind of where I find my why, my reason, because it's got to take things one day at a time, especially in technology. You can get so overwhelmed. I'm definitely not a great programmer by any means. I mean, there's definitely things I struggle with.
Debatable.
Well, I mean,
pretty good.
I can do certain things, but there's just so much.
I get what you're saying.
And that's where the overwhelming and the imposter syndrome can come in. I mean, that's a big buzzword, imposter syndrome, in any industry, But that's exercise, getting outside, walking the dogs, things like that. That's where you come back to that simplicity. You just go outside, kind of tune out the noise a little bit, and then you come back and do it all over again.
Yeah, man. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Question for you. So, what is something that you think a lot of people don't know about you? Either a hidden fact or something that, maybe people wouldn't be able to tell right off. Like, what's something that you personally would think that a lot of people, and I'll go first. Like, I think for me, one of the things that most people don't know, especially given my personality, is I lean on the side of introvertedness. You know what I mean? So it makes sense for you because you're a little bit more like mild, reserved, laid back. Unless it's kind of like this, I'm running around the office screaming all the time. You know what I mean? But I get my energy from smaller settings and like conversations like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's just an example of something that people, like most people, might not notice or like even pick up on. And so I'm curious for you. It doesn't have to be necessarily like that. It could be anything.
Oh yeah. Questions like this can be answered in so many different ways, but I feel like if somebody doesn't know me, and that's really, outside of work, outside of friends, family, things like that, I think people probably are quick to assume, and I don't want to be that kind of person, just be like, yeah, they're getting the wrong idea from me. But I think people, until they get to know me, they're going to assume, they're going to probably build their own version of what I'm like, right? But I also think I can be versatile. I am an introverted person, but I can also be extroverted a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, and ambivert, I guess, would be a better definition. I can be both. And that's really what I like to do. You know, I do like my time by myself and definitely quiet. But that doesn't mean, you know, I need to have like the hood on behind my computer, dark room, everything like that. Like, that's not who I am.
Yeah.
I do like having my monitors though, because I can multitask. That's the best part about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, because I mean, in life, you know, you got to grow to be flexible, right? Different situations, different things. I mean, that's how you test who you are, really who you are, right? That discovery. So I think one of the things that once people do kind of get to know me is like, yeah, he can be funny, right? He's not just a quiet person, although I really do like to be the quiet person. I can listen, right? I'm definitely more of a listener than a speaker. But I can also do both.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Totally.
Yeah.
Man, before we get out of here, we're going to play a game called overrated or underrated.
Okay.
I'm just going to say one thing, and you tell me if whatever it is that I named is overrated or underrated. If I want to know more, I'll ask you to explain. Okay? Cereal.
I think it's overrated because it's probably one of the most eaten breakfast foods every day. But it's always nice to have a bowl of cereal. So I'm going to say overrated.
Cereal's overrated?
Yeah.
Okay. Christmas.
Oh, so overrated.
Overrated?
Yeah. And especially when it comes to, I'll keep this short, but when you see the stores putting everything out, celebrating early, it's like there's a time and a place.
Yeah.
Right? Why you got to drag it out?
Yeah.
I'm being a little bit of a Scrooge here, but that's just me. And I'll leave it right there.
Cereal's overrated. Christmas is overrated.
Oh, yeah.
Swimming.
Probably underrated.
Okay.
I'm a terrible swimmer, and that's an area of an improvement in my life. And I think if I wasn't so bad at it and I didn't hate it so much, I'd love it a lot more.
I feel that.
So I think it's underrated for that reason.
So if we teach you how to swim, you will love it.
Oh, I know how to swim. I sink. As soon as I get in the water, I sink. So it's more work than it is
If we
fun.
teach you how to float, you would like swimming.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cereal overrated, Christmas overrated, swimming underrated.
Yeah.
Going to the movies.
Probably underrated.
Okay.
The reason why is because streaming's so prevalent. And that's my preferred way of watching things. It just, you don't have to go anywhere. But going back to what I was saying about simplicity, the act of going somewhere with somebody or by yourself, it's like not really time travel, but it's like this is that's what used to be what people did.
Yeah.
Right? But now going back to, I would think the theme of this episode is technology, right? Technology has given us the option and flexibility to be able to watch whatever we want, when we want, and where we want.
Yeah.
So I'd say going to the movies is underrated.
What do we got? Cereal overrated, Christmas overrated,
Yep.
Swimming underrated, going to the movies underrated,
2 for 2.
dancing.
Underrated.
Okay.
Because I'm not a good dancer. I like to think I am up in my head, but I'm not a good dancer. Now, when it comes to dancing in front of people, that's a different story. But, you know, when you're by yourself, it's like
Could just
anything
be
on the table. Yeah. So underrated.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Nate, thanks for your time, brother.
Yeah, thank you.
If you want to learn more about Nate, feel free to come to the studio and meet him yourself.
I'm here every day.
That's what I got. Peace.
See ya.